It's Saturday, January 12th. Already have the wrong date. It's Saturday, January 10th, 2026. Last year for Winter Field Day, I went and hung out at the Indiana Dunes State Park, National Park with Grayman POTA and with Punk Rock Ham Radio. Had a great time out there, but we didn't have much of a plan other than going to play POTA, Winter Field Day, make it all one thing and just have fun. This year, I wanted to do something a little bit more purposeful. I realized that with 14 days until Winter Field Day, as of the time I'm recording this, that I may not be planning well enough ahead of time, but life gets in the way and, other things take priority. So this is the planning window that I have left. This is the planning window that I have. And I imagine that a lot of people are in similar situations, and maybe they won't do something about having fun on, what should be a fun day of radio just because they didn't have enough time to prepare. I'm hoping that this video gives you enough confidence to realize that, 14 days is more than enough. No plan is also more than enough, because we did a no plan Winter Field Day last year and we still had a great time for a few hours at the park. I'm going to change the script a little bit this year in that I am being very purposeful. To that end, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 now, but I haven't made any plans, hard plans specifically. So let me walk you through the items that I know that I have to address, because I've made a short list to go over them. What my current thoughts on the items that I have are, and if other items come up as I am planning it, I will add them hopefully to this video. I don't know how long I'll be before I publish this video between now and the time Winter Field Day happens, but So let's start with a location. Last year we went to the Indiana Dunes National Park and State Park in North Indiana, right on the lake shore. We were lucky. We had a very beautiful weather, sunny day after having had a very nasty bit of weather. I can't count on luck. So this year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a park that meets several criteria. Number one, it has to be a Parks on the Air entity. That shouldn't be difficult in Indiana. Number two, I have to be legally able to stay there overnight. Number three, and this is a bonus item, not a requirement, that I have a campground where I can set up on the campground and set up overnight and have a facilities access. Look, facilities are not necessary, but they are nice, okay? Yes, based on what you just heard, I am planning to overnight with my truck somewhere in the state of Indiana, which leads me to item number 2. Equipment, sub-item 1, and that is my truck. I need to outfit my truck in such a way that I can overnight somewhere without terrible amount of issue. My truck is by no means ready for that at this moment, but I'm going to try to make do with what I got. I already have a bed platform that I built for my old pickup truck that only needs to be slightly modified to work properly in my new truck. So a place to sleep and or sit is soft covered. I need to make some modifications, but let's just assume that I'll have time to get those done hopefully today. Bedding, not a problem. I happen to be a domesticated human, and by that I mean, I have a wife who makes sure that we have blankets and stuff like that. So I will have a couple extra blankets. I will also have my sleeping bag. So as far as staying warm in Indiana, I should be okay down to about, I don't know, maybe 20 degrees Fahrenheit without additional heat. For additional heat, I have a buddy heater and a propane tank already. That's not a problem. The one level of concern that I do have is that if I'm going to be in an enclosed space with that, there's CO2 to be dealt with, so I need to find a way of dealing with the CO2. Baby steps, we'll get there. I'm not going to get into a confined space with some way. I'm not going to get into a confined space without some way of dealing with the CO2 because I don't want to die. So there's that. The bed of my truck, my new truck, is significantly larger than the bed of my old pickup truck. So my hope is that I'm able to bring out the POTA shanty with me. I got to figure out what the arrangement inside of the bed is going to be, but if I can bring the POTA shanty with me, then I can have a fixed location to set up that is separate from my bedroom, if you will, that I can set up next to my vehicle and then be good to go in terms of putting a radio, a table, heat, all the other stuff that goes along with winter Indiana radio stuff, right? Equipment sub item number 2 is going to be, what radios am I going to take? And yes, I said radios. I'm definitely bringing my 7300 Mark II, right? That's a no-brainer. It's a great receiver. It's a great transmitter. But I'm limited 6 through 160, right, meters. One of the objectives of Winter Field Day is that you make 3 QSOs on a minimum of 6 bands. Mind you, these are for bonus points that don't matter because, you know, we know, right? But one of the extended objectives is 12 bands. And that's going to be difficult, right? So I'm also going to bring my 7100 with the objective of using it for VHF and UHF. I also have my 2730 inside of the truck, and I may use that for VHF and UHF FM, but I want to give myself the best shot by having the ability to do sideband and AM on those 2 bands while I'm away. So that covers radios basically. Coax, I'm going to bring a couple of runs of coax that I already have, not a big deal. They're both going to be AVR with the shield. That way they're very visible in case there's people around me. I don't want people tripping, so I try to make my setup as visible as possible so that it provides the least likelihood of someone getting harmed by it. But that leaves me down to antennas, right? I have a DX Commander POTA SOTA that has 3 bands on it. Right now it is cut for 10, 20, and 40. 40 is supposed to give me 15 as well. It may work out with a tuner. I've always needed some form of a tune on that antenna for 15 to work. Even if I don't do anything with that antenna right now, it should give me at least those 3 bands. My hope is to have enough time that I can recut elements on that for that antenna, because it has 5 mounting points, not 3. And while the spacers on the mast only have 3 holes on them, guess what? I have a drill and drill bits. I can make holes on UHM, whatever the material is that Callum uses for that antenna for the spacers. So I can give myself at least 2 more bands that I don't have a vertical on. So let's say that I managed to cut elements for 15 independently, and for maybe 80. 80 would be a trick on that antenna, because I would have to go inverted L. So we definitely need another mast, but don't worry about it. We'll figure something out. Maybe cut an element for 6, although I already have a 6-meter dipole that I can take with me. We'll see how the pack out goes. Something about your pack out grows to fit the size of your container. I think I said something about that a couple of videos ago. The bed of my truck is pretty large, so I expect I'll end up stuffing the thing full of gear. Just how we roll, right? I'm also probably going to take an end fed. Maybe 2. Have to do, yeah, a couple end feds should work. But if I take end feds, what do I take them for? What bands do I take them for? There's a part of me that wants to be ready for 160 meters. So maybe I'll cut an end fed for 160 and see what it does, and maybe an 80 as well. I don't imagine an end fed cut for 160 is going to do very well beyond 80. I think the other bands may not work out quite well on it, but we'll see. In terms of putting up antennas, I have a spider beam, I have the Gigadude 25, and I have the Gigaparts Explorer 20-foot mast. I think all of those will ride in the back of the pickup truck with no issue. I mean, they shouldn't take up a whole lot of space. See, I'm already filling up the truck. So that covers me in terms of antennas, right? I mean, a vertical with 4 or 5 bands, couple of end feds with a couple of bands each. Let's say one is cut for 160, the other one may be cut for 40, And that way I have some backup in terms of antenna other than the DX Commander in case something happens. And then 6-meter dipole. I have a monster of a 2-meter beam, and I'm not sure I can fit in the back of the truck. But if I can fit it, maybe I can take that with me and work 2 meters a lot. It would have to be, I would definitely have to guide that antenna for it to work out. I have to work this out here soon. So I have an idea of where I want to set up in terms of a park, right? I don't know what park it'll be. I'm hoping I can make it a park that I haven't activated yet. I've roughed out the technical equipment I'm going to take in terms of radios, antennas, and coax. That leaves the minutia, the stuff on the side, like my sleeping bag and a couple of blankets and food. If I'm going to be out there for 24 to 30 hours, I need food because I don't want to be leaving the middle of the activation to go get food, right? The idea is to set up and stay set up until the event ends and then break down and then come home. That also means I need things to drink, probably water for the most part. Water with electrolytes, maybe coffee, we'll figure it out. And then some means to get rid of the human waste that's going to come. I'm hoping that wherever I end up at has facilities and, problem solved. But if not, then I need to plan for that. So I need to have a side item available in terms of a planning note for that eventuality. Almost forgot about an item on equipment that I don't have it written down, but I also had made a mental note that I hadn't transcribed yet, and that is battery power. I'm going to run on battery power. I have a couple of really big batteries. Why not? So I'll take both of my big batteries, the 280 amp hour that I built, and I'll make sure that it is charged before I go, and the 260 amp hour that I bought from Steve, also I'll make sure that it is charged before we go. Am I missing anything else? What am I going to log with? I'm going to log with my iPad using Polo. The alternative, paper and pen. Simple. My battery box has a way of charging USB-C, so whenever the power gets to a point on my iPad where it needs to charge, I'll just plug it into the battery and charge it back up. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm sure other items are going to come up as I am working around this, but my hope is to spend the bulk of today getting all the stuff ready and staged. I'm not going to put it in my truck yet because it's 2 weeks from now, right? And I have other things to do that include me using the pickup truck for pickup truck things. So it would be foolish to put all that stuff in the back of my vehicle now. But it doesn't mean that I can't prepare it and have it in a corner of the garage all ready. And that way, when it comes time to load, it's just a matter of load it all up on Friday night and be ready to roll on Saturday morning. And that's the idea. I want to leave here Saturday morning at some point in time with enough time that I can make it to wherever I'm going, with time to set up within the setup window, and then start operating at the 11 o'clock Eastern opening time. I may start earlier than that, but those contacts obviously won't count. I have a feeling though, if I'm playing POTA by say 10 a.m., I can secure myself a frequency that I can keep on calling for the a good chunk of the afternoon before I shift bands and go to work the other bands that I'm going to try to work. That sounds like a sensible plan so far. We all know that no plan survives contact with the enemy, and in this case, the enemy is everything else, right? Like, things that we can't account for, or things that maybe I didn't think about that I should have thought about. A plan is a good place to start for what you're going to try to do, or in this case, what I'm going to try to do. So my plan is to leave my home early Saturday morning in time to get wherever I'm going and set up, start operating as soon as I can, outside of the window. If I'm outside of the window, I'll just be calling POTA. And then I'll start a brand new log for Winter Field Day. Not a big deal. But as soon as I go Winter Field Day, I'll just do the Winter Field Day exchange. And then the people that are hunting me or I'm hunting are going to get POTA credit because I'm going to be at a POTA park. Continue through the day until I can't deal with it anymore for the night. Because, sooner or later you're going to get mentally fatigued or physically fatigued, and you're going to have to call it. I plan on using sideband, AM, FM. No CW yet. Maybe I'll hunt on CW, but understand that my ears are not quite ready for decoding as well as I need them to be before I do that at a park or during an event. There are a couple of digital modes that are allowed. So anything WSJTX is not allowed, but I can use RIDI. I've never done RIDI before, so maybe this is an excuse to learn how to do RIDI. What else? That's about it. Keep them going, wake up whenever, start it again, and at the end of winter field day, I'll shut things down, pack it up, come home, and edit video and see what we get. Ideally, I knock off a bunch of the objectives in the winter field day objectives list. I don't know how many I will yet, but at least half of them seem doable, right? I'm gonna plan it out today. I wanna get the gear ready today, and hopefully on the day of the event, I'm able to execute. All I have on this one for now, folks. Catch you in the next one. 7-3. And if you hear me calling CQ Field Day, call back.